Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to be working through some test questions that you might get in an algebra paper. This is term 1 grade 10 work, so if you are in South Africa that is what you should be expecting. But it's really good just general algebra practice as well if you're doing GCSE or some other course. So first of all, we are going to be simplifying some expressions, so let's jump straight into it. Please let me know in the comments if you have any questions. So first of all, simplify the following expressions. So if A, we have this 2x plus 3, 4x minus 5. So they are testing our expanding skills here. And all you need to remember is when we expand something, we multiply every term in the first bracket by every term in the second. So we would go 2x times 4x is 8x squared. 2x times negative 5 is negative 10x. 3 times 4x is 12x, and 3 times negative 5 is negative 15. And then we want to simplify this, so we're going to add what we can. So we can't do anything with that 8x squared because there's no other x squares. Then with these ones, we can actually simplify those. So minus 10x plus 12x is going to give us positive 2x minus 15. And that is as far as we can go for that one. So that is our simplified answer there for that one. Okay, question 1b is basically the same as question A. The only difference is they have thrown some fractions in just to make it, just to test that skill. So if we look at B, we've got a quarter x plus a third y, half x minus a fifth y. Okay, we're going to do exactly the same thing. So we are going to times like we did before, so everything by everything else. So first of all, a quarter x times a half x. How this works is, let's just write it out so we have it. A quarter x times a half x. What we do is we do the fractions. So top times top. So 1 times 1 is 1. 4 times 2 at the bottom is 8. And x times x is x squared. Okay, so that's how we're going to do all of them. I'm not going to show them all like that, but just so you know what we're on to. Okay, so if we do the first one, so we said a quarter x times a half x is going to give us an 8x squared. Then next we're going to go a quarter times a fifth. That's going to be minus 1 times 1 is 1 at the top. 4 times 5 is 20 at the bottom. X times y is xy. Then we've got to do these. So a third times a half. So that is going to be 1 at the top, 6 at the bottom. And that's xy. And then a third times a fifth. That's going to be minus 1 over 15 y squared. Okay, which we can then simplify a bit. So we can't simplify this first term because there's no other x squared terms. So that's going to stay the same. And the last term is going to stay the same. But then we need to simplify this xy. So to do that, we need to make sure that the base is the same because we can't add them at this how they currently are. So what we have to do is convert this minus 1 over 20 xy and the 1 over 6 xy. We need them to have the same base. Okay, so we can choose anything. What I'm going to probably do is say 120 because I know that these both go into 120. So to get this first one, I'm going to say at the bottom I have to go 20 times 6 will give me 120. So at the top I have to do the same times 6. So I'm going to have 6 like that. This one, exactly the same. I want the base to be 120 so I can actually add these or subtract these. So I go 6 times 20 will give me 120. So I have to do the same at the top, 1 times 20. So I get 20 over 120 xy. Okay, so now in here we've got 6 over 120 plus 20 over 120. xy. And then we can simplify that. So it's going to be minus 6, add 20. And so we're going to have positive 14. So our final answer there is then going to be that 1 over 8 x squared plus 14 over 120 xy. And then the last one is that minus 1 over 15 y squared. That is my final answer. Okay, so the algebra actually wasn't too difficult in this one. It was just multiplying, expanding out. The tricky part was the fractions, so making sure that you know how to subtract, multiply, and add with fractions. Let's have a look at question 1c then. Okay, so 1c, we have got a bracket, x minus y squared, minus 3 x plus y, 2x plus y. Okay, so we can see these brackets at the back here, we're going to have to expand. And this we are actually also going to have to expand. So whenever we have a bracket with a square like that, we can rewrite it as x minus y times x minus y. Okay, that square means we're timesing it by itself. And then let's write all this. Okay, so a bit tedious, we have to just multiply this all out. So let's get our green pen so we can see what we're doing here. So we're going to go x times x is x squared. X times y is minus xy. Minus y times x is minus xy. It doesn't matter which order you write it in. I'm just going to write it in the same xy order so we know that they're the same. And then minus y times minus y is positive y squared. And then let's keep the minus 3 for now. Let's do these brackets. So x times 2x is going to be 2x squared. X times y is going to be xy. Y times 2x is going to give you 2xy. And y times y is going to give you y squared. Okay, so we are getting closer to the point where we can actually simplify. Last thing we've got to do now is multiply this minus 3 in. Okay, so let's get a different color so we can see where we are. So again, we've got x squared minus xy plus y squared. Now we're going to multiply this minus 3 in. So minus 3 times 2x squared is going to give you minus 6x squared. Minus 3 times xy is minus 3xy. Minus 3 times 2xy is minus 6xy. And minus 3 times y squared is minus 3y squared. Okay, so that's just kind of tricky because you have to do the expanding of the brackets and you have to make sure you multiply everything by the minus 3 in front. Let's see now what we can simplify. So I'm going to highlight things that are the same. So x squared, let's see if we've got any other x squareds. So there's an x squared. There's an x squared. Make sure you highlight the sign in front as well. So that's all of our x squared. Okay, so x squared minus 6x squared is going to be minus 5x squared. Next up, let's see. We've got xy. So minus xy minus xy minus 3xy minus 6xy. Let's add those all up. Okay, so minus xy minus another xy, that's minus 2xy. Minus another 3 is minus 5xy. Minus another 6 is minus 11xy. And then finally we've got the y squared. So we've got plus y squared minus 3y squared. So 1 minus 3 is minus 2y squared. And that is then our final answer for that one. We can't simplify any further than that. Okay, and then let's look at question D. So these ones, they're not too difficult. They're just a little bit tedious because it's lots of multiplying out. So you just got to keep your head on, make sure you get all these signs right. Okay, so question D. We have got 2x minus 1, 4x squared plus 2x plus 1. So here we've got a binomial, so that means 2 terms in a bracket, and a trinomial. Doesn't matter, we're going to multiply out. I'm going to show you how we do that. So we have to make sure we multiply everything in the first bracket by everything in the second bracket. So I'm going to go 2x first. So 2x times 4x squared, that's going to be 8x cubed. 2x times 2x is going to be 4x squared. And 2x times 1 is going to 2x. Next, we have to multiply everything by the minus 1. So minus 1 times 4x squared is minus 4x squared. Minus 1 times 2x is minus 2x. Minus 1 times 1 is minus 1. Okay, so not too bad. You just got to make sure you multiply everything like that. Let's simplify now. So I don't have any other x cubes. So I'm going to have 8x cubed. And then I've got 4x squared and minus 4x squared. So they are actually going to cancel because positive 4 take away 4, that's going to cancel out. 2x minus 2x, those are also going to cancel. And so we're left with 8x3 minus 1. So that is quite nice and simple. Next up in question 2, we've got lots of factorizing questions.